Hey guys, I'm back, and before I start, this is going to be a horribly long video, but there's going to be some good news in a couple minutes when I unveil a bunch of things that are changing. So before I get started and I completely forget, I want to thank the 6 of you that have subscribed since last time. That's a lot of people for me being gone. Actually, that's a lot of people, period. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you so much. For those of you who have subscribed, if you subscribe thinking that what you were watching before was what was gonna keep going on, you're in for a huge surprise, because we're moving along real fast here and we're gonna make big changes, or rather I'm gonna make big changes because you guys just get to watch. These videos are gonna get way better. So thank you guys. Thanks so much for subscribing. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. The $1,000,000 question is, where have I been all of March? Except no one cares because no one asked that. But I'm going to answer that question anyway. The last part of February into mid-March, I was horribly sick with this fever that wouldn't leave me alone. It just kept coming back. And then for the second half of March, as soon as I was feeling better, I was getting calls for interviews. And so I've gotten a new job. Like I said before, there's a lot of changes going on. One of those changes is the fact that I've been able to get new gear, and the show's going to dramatically change. Right now, I have an AKG Perception 100 mic directly above me, and that's basically capturing all the sound in the room. I said it before, it's the ear in the room. That's about to completely change, because as I said last time, these videos are an evolution. We're evolving faster than I thought we would. What's happened is, with some luck, some determination, I've been able to acquire some new gear. Chief amongst that gear is this thing. This is the Behringer, I don't know how to say it. I say Behringer. This is the Behringer Xenyx 1204 USB mixer, and basically this is going to be the mixer that I'm going to be using. So all the mics are going to go plugged into here, and then they'll go directly into the camera, unlike what I have now, where I basically have the Art Phantom Power 1 or something like that. Yeah. Art Phantom Power 1, I think that's what it's called. And I have my Perception 100 going into that, and then I have a cable going from that to the camera. So everything's going to be here. Got 4 inputs for 4 condenser mics or whatever. And then I got a bunch of other inputs here that I'm not going to be using because, well, I don't use that many mics. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to be using this. This is the Shure SM57. This is going to be basically recording amps and instruments. It'll be right in front of my guitar amp, my bass amp, right in front of the acoustic instruments, and it'll be basically getting that sound right in front of it. And the reason I chose this is because it's the best. It's the best bet. For $100, you get one of these, and it's really reliable. It's extremely durable. It's nearly indestructible. Nearly every studio I've ever been in, and they're all small studios, so I can't say I've been to big studios, but all the big studios, or whatever that I watch on YouTube, they all talk about this mic, about having a couple in their locker. Nearly everyone has one of these because they're so reliable and because they produce such a great sound at such a phenomenal cost. We'll have this, which is my Perception 120. Now this is going to be the room mic, so you'll have a mic directly in front of the instrument and one in the room to capture the whole picture. Aside from that, I'll still be using the Perception 100 to capture just my voice pretty much. That's basically going to be the setup. It's 3 mics. Of course, when I go do dynamic mics, we won't be dealing with these. It'll just be the dynamic mic straight into the board and right into the camera. If you have any questions regarding that stuff, feel free to ask. As always, you can ask me anything regarding the equipment or whatever's on your mind, and I'll try to get to you as fast as possible. Usually I get to people within a couple days, if not sooner. At this point, I want to get into something that I haven't done before, but I really should, and that's basically kind of the etiquette of my videos and my channel and how that works. There's a couple of mottos on my channel, or at least for my videos. I think the primary one is, I'm not the end all to be all. You're here to just kind of listen to what this stuff sounds like in a pretty typical environment. These videos are directed primarily towards beginners, but that's not to say that I'm trying to alienate anyone who's intermediate, seasoned, advanced. Basically, the model of these videos is you guys come here and to check out what something sounds like in a pretty typical environment and what you'd expect. And number 2 is, ask questions. It is okay to ask me questions. It is completely fine. In fact, I love getting questions from you guys. It's awesome when I get questions from you guys, comments, that kind of stuff. It's so if there's ever anything that's confusing you, any process that I explained that doesn't really square up in your head, when in doubt, ask questions. So when in doubt, please go ahead and ask me a question and I'll walk you through it, or I'll try to figure something out for your particular situation. So please ask questions. Now I'd like to do something that I've been kind of forgetting to do. I've been really rude with you guys because we're closing in on 20 videos and I have yet to introduce myself. Of course, this channel is Somberamarath. I come on here and I just start spouting out stuff, and I've never introduced myself formally. So my name is Ramiro Ortiz. I've been involved in music and collecting all the gear you see here since I was 13, and I'm 22 now, so for a while now I've been collecting this stuff. So this isn't something that I was able to put together overnight. It's a culmination of many years of trying to get things put together. And so, I mean, that's basically me in a nutshell. I do these videos because when I started out, there wasn't much information on the gear that I wanted to get in terms of what it actually sounds like in an environment, in the environment that I was gonna play that stuff in. I want to do these videos because of that, because with these videos there'll be a stepping stone in people's research to or your research rather, since you're watching this, and your research towards the things you want to do and the things you want to buy. You get to hear that gear or that idea played out in these videos as close as possible, hopefully, to what would realistically be happening on your end. And of course, like I said, these are geared towards beginners, so I try to keep in mind the budget as much as possible. And so yeah, hopefully these videos help guide you at least to some extent, and they help you through whatever ideas you're trying to put together. And that's the point of these videos. So I mean, that's my little introduction. I want to get into a couple of other things that I've failed to mention. So like I said before, if there's ever something I explain that you're not getting, it doesn't seem like it's right, it's not working out, when in doubt, stop, ask me. Like I said, I try to get back to you as quickly as possible, and I'll try to help you out with whatever problem you've encountered. The other thing is the actual etiquette of this channel and these videos. My YouTube channel is a little different from, well, most YouTube channels out there, at least as far as I can tell. I'm a little erratic. I talk way too much and my videos go on way too long, and well, the budget is actually not there in like for other YouTubers where they actually have pretty quality equipment. I slowly put together the equipment. I'm trying to build an environment where everyone can kind of meet and respectfully exchange ideas and get ideas and exchange constructive criticism and whatnot. So even though this hasn't been an issue, just going forward, I'd like to make this clear that in the comments, I'd like people not to argue with each other. It's cool to exchange ideas and respectfully disagree with people and criticize and whatnot, but I'd like for those of you commenting not to put anyone down. That's not what this is about. This is about lifting people up. For those of you who have reached, one of those pinnacles in music and being a musician, you need to realize that we all started off at point zero at one point, and not all of us are on par with everyone else. Some of us are at different levels. Some of us are more advanced. Some of us move faster. Some of us move slower. So we need to be respectful of the people who are asking questions. So if someone asks a question like, I don't know how to connect my guitar to my amp, please don't call this person a noob and discourage them from the world of music, which is an amazingly beautiful world and helps people get through some horrible things. I know it's helped me, and it also helps develop the mind to an amazing extent. What I'd like to see is, you know, if I haven't answered it yet and someone wants to answer it, something like, well, what you're going to want to do is find yourself an instrument cable with a, you know, 1/4 TRS plug on one end and another 1/4 TRS plug on the other end, and you know, one of those plugs is going to go into the little hole that says input on your amp, and the other one's going to go to the little hole that's usually on the body next to the knobs or somewhere on the side, depending on the guitar. That's what I'd like to see, you know, an exchange like that instead of people attacking each other, because I see that a lot on YouTube and I absolutely abhor that. It's stupid, and that's not what this channel is about. This channel is about trying to get people from where they are to where they want to be and further, hopefully. They keep coming back and just picking at my ideas like, oh, that doesn't make sense, I can do it this way. That's great. That's what I want to see. Please share all the things that are in your head. So the whole point is to try to kind of create a melting pot of ideas and try to create a nurturing environment for young musicians and even for seasoned musicians. And that's the whole point of these videos. So please, you can attack me all you want. I really don't care, because the way I see the world is, if you have a problem with me, that's your problem. It's not my problem, so I'm not going to worry about it. You have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with any of that. That's your problem. So you can attack me all you want, but please, people who are commenting, please don't attack those people. You know, try to help them out if you can. If you can't, whatever. If you disagree with something I tell someone in a comment, by all means, respectfully disagree, you know. I think all of us are smart enough out there to respectfully disagree, you know, and anyone can construct the basic rebuttal, which would be, I see your point, but I respectfully disagree because X, Y, and Z, instead of, you know, resorting to 4-letter words and put downs. So I wanted to get that out of the way. This is probably the longest part of the video, but I felt like it had to be said before this channel gets bigger, thanks to your support. And I do really appreciate your support. Thank you guys very much. Finally, we get to the point of this whole video, and the point of this whole video is to show you how and maybe why you would plug a dynamic vocal mic into a guitar amp. And so before we move forward, a little bit about how this came about. So I got a question on one of my other videos about how I was plugging my microphone into the camera, and that somehow spiraled into how to plug in a microphone into a guitar amplifier, or at least that's what I decided that it was after the fact. In either case, the conversation kind of ended, and I was uncertain as to whether the person asking had received the information they needed, if they've understood what was going on. And so I decided that I'd do a little segment, a little video. Of course, I've made this a giant video, but I'd do a little video regarding that, so that I can basically do two things. One, test out the new setup that I'm going to be using, which we have not begun using yet, but we will be in the next minutes or so. And two was basically to give a visual example of that and whatnot. So before we get to actually plugging in a dynamic mic into my guitar amplifier, let me kind of give you fair warning here. I haven't been able to come to a definitive conclusion as to whether it is okay to plug a dynamic mic into an amplifier, a guitar amplifier. From all the research I've done, I see a giant split, but no definitive answer. We got people on one side saying it's okay, people have been doing it forever, it doesn't harm anything. And then on the other side, we got people talking about the technical side of things, like the impedances, or however you say that, don't match. And I don't know anything about that. That's all science, physics, whatever. And I don't get how that works. I could study it for a million years, I'd still be lost. But I do know that when one thing isn't equal to the other, it tends to be not a good thing, and that's their argument, the fact that that doesn't work. And what ends up happening is not your amp gets destroyed, but your speakers get destroyed. You got the other people who are on the side of, yes, you can do it, but it'll sound bad, and you'll have to turn up your volume to a ridiculous level. And so it goes back and forth, and no one really kind of gives me a definitive, this is the problem with this, or this is how you do it properly. So I will say this: experiment at your own risk. If you have the potential to buy yourself another amp, by all means. If you don't, I refrain. I will say this: I've done this in the past when I started playing music in bands seriously. We didn't have much money, and so we plugged in a bunch of little Marshall amps. We strung a bunch of them together, and we pass a mic through them, and those amps are fine. It seems like the problem might be in the fact that you have to turn the volume all the way up to get any kind of sound or usable volume levels out of that setup, and I think that's what might screw things up. Because like I've said in the past, I've done this and I haven't had problems, but I just might be getting lucky every time. But I will say this: if you turn your amp all the way to 11, it will cause damage to the speakers. So maybe that's what's going on there. I don't know, but please, I would never want to stifle your creativity. By all means, experiment, but be very smart when you experiment. Know that there's dangers in destroying your gear potentially, so be very careful. So now we're using the Behringer Xenyx 1204 USB mixer. Real quick, the setup, as always, my Perception 100 is directly above me, capturing my voice with the camera, or where the camera is positioned in the back of the room, or I mean literally like 6 feet away from me because this room is tiny, is my AKG Perception 120, and that's sort of the room mic. It's sort of going to be the new ear in the room. So the 100 is only going to be capturing the sound of my voice. So right now, it's a combination of the 120 and the 100. The 120, of course, 6 feet away from me where the camera is, and the 100 right here, right above me. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and show you how you would plug your mic into your guitar amplifier. And it's very simple. It's a no-brainer, but we'll go ahead and go through it anyway. What we're going to plug in is this. This is my Shure SM58. So we're going to go ahead and plug this mic into that amp over there. So in order to plug in this mic, what we're going to need is a cable with an XLR female connector at one end and a 1/4 TRS connector at the other end. So here we have my Stagg SMC6XP. It's part of their S series or S line. I'm not sure how they denote it. But it's a pretty standard mic cable. I got this one at Johnny Thompson's Music. I don't remember paying more than 20 bucks for it. I want to say I paid like 12, 15 bucks for it. It was a pretty good price. It's a nice cable. It's been my backup for a while now, so I don't really remember what I paid for it because it's been with me for so long. So as you can see right here, this one is our XLR female. And this one right here is our 1/4 inch TRS. And so this one's going to go ahead and go into the input of the amp over there. And this one's going to go ahead and go into the microphone. And so it works something like this. So we go ahead and plug this into the microphone like so. Find the little groove, and there it goes. It locks into place. So it's on the mic. The next step is to take the 1/4 inch and plug it into the input on the amp. So I got a bunch of cables here because of the mic, but basically the input's over here, and we go ahead and plug it into the input. And there you are. Now the mic is plugged in to the amp. So I'm going to turn on the amp now. And there it is, it's on. And the next thing I'm going to do is mute the AKG Perception 100 above me and unmute the Shure SM57 right in front of the amp.
And so now you should be hearing me through the amp. This is more or less what it sounds like. You're hearing the sound come in through the SM57 and also the Perception 120. Have it at a low volume. Like I said before, I don't want to go ahead and turn it up to a high volume, and I don't recommend you do either because that might cause some issues with your speaker. Be aware that you're probably also hearing me come in through the mic in the room. So I'll probably leave the room in a little while to do some tests on that. So that's, yeah, my voice sounds like this through the amp. and give you a little stupid song that I've been singing while I've been shooting this video. And it goes a little something like this. I'm a potato spud. They call me tater tot. That's probably the worst song in the world. But yeah, so now I'll go ahead and leave the room, and I'll talk to you and sing the same stupid song or whatever. That way you're only getting what's happening in the room without me. So I'm now outside of the room. You should be hearing me solely through the amp. And yeah, so this is how the amp would work if you were using it with your microphone. I guess it has a PA system. Now we will sing the same stupid potato song. I'm a potato spud. They call me tater tot. One of the reasons why you would want to do this is because you lack a PA system and you're just trying to get some vocals in there. It's probably the worst reason for why you would plug a mic into a guitar amp. It's probably not a wise choice, but there are other reasons why you would want to plug a vocal microphone into a guitar amp, and some of those reasons have to do with recording, because you can get some cool effects for recording. You know, if you're doing little little skits, or if you're trying to get some weird sounds in there, you might be able to do that with the amp. And I'm going to go ahead and show you some of that. For this test, I'm not going to leave the room. But here's one of the cool things you can do when you put your amp on distortion. So now my amp is on distortion, on the overdrive channel, rather. As you can hear, my voice sounds a little different. So when you're doing this, you're going to want to keep the gain relatively low. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of feedback, a ridiculous amount of feedback. I'm pretty sure you noticed that the mic is being held away from the speaker and away from the amplifier. And of course, when I say amplifier, I mean the whole combo. I'm referring to that, not just the thing driving the sound. And so basically, you're going to want to keep as far away from it as possible. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of ridiculous feedback, and that's not good for anything. But yeah, as you can hear, my voice sounds a little raspier, a little crazy. And if you're into the sort of heavier music, more thrashy music, you're a vocalist for that, you could potentially use this for boosting your screams or whatever. It's going to make your singing voice sound horrible, but your screams might sound kind of cool, or growls if you do something like this. So with minimal effort, you're getting a really interesting growl, and pretty scary. I mean, I could try to do louder, but it might cause some issues with how you're perceiving this on your end in the final product. But let's see if we can go for a little longer. So you would have something like this. So that's just a bunch of noise. Trying to imitate, well, not imitate, but doing vowel sounds in the O's and ahs kind of range. So you can hear what that sounds like. Another thing you could do is you can get down really low, right? Like right here. And let the people know the time in Oakland, California is currently 5:02. We'll be landing in about 5 minutes. The temperature is 53 degrees. Fairly clear skies. A little wind at about 5 miles an hour northeast. Be forewarned, the Oakland Raiders have lost a football match, and may God save your soul. Yeah, that's just. I got nothing against the Raiders. I'm just screwing with you guys. It's funny to pick at stereotypes sometimes. But you can do stupid stuff like that. Yeah, you can become an airline pilot real easy like that. You get that raspiness, and kind of sounds like the real thing, doesn't it? So yeah, those are some of the ideas I could come up with why you would want to plug your dynamic mic, your vocal mic, into your amplifier. Like I said, you want to keep the volume low. You want to keep away from the speaker, because you can get a lot of feedback. And if you're using it as a PA, you're not going to get great sound. And if you're trying to play along with the band, it's not going to happen. You'll break you'll bust the speaker. Really, that's what's going to happen long before you can be heard in the mix. So that's probably not the best idea. But if you're in a pinch, and you're doing something like maybe a public speaking event in a small crowd, this could potentially help. If you're doing some weird recording stuff, low volume, you have a mic like the SM57 really close, something like that. That might work. That might be a good idea. It might be fun. But like I said, experiment at your own risk, and be very careful with your equipment. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the regular setup now. I hope this has helped you, and merry to you.
All right, guys, so that's basically all I have for you. That's more or less what I wanted to get out there. I hope that's helped. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And feel free to comment, like, subscribe, please, and share this with everyone and whatnot. A couple of things before I let you go. I forgot to mention. So the description box is also going to have kind of some changes. What you're going to see is you're going to see a little description at the top. Then you'll probably see some stuff that has to do with the video, like usual, the gear I've been using in the video, so that you can check out that gear if you want to look into it, if you want to get some of that stuff for yourself. That'll be there. Then there'll also be, of course, as always, how to find the other stuff that I'm doing on the web, my own music, and whatever other projects I'm involved in will be in the second section. There'll be a third section in the description box with all the extra stuff, like the link to Johnny Thompson's music, and maybe some videos that I've mentioned in the video or what have you. In this video, there's going to be a link to some of the stuff that I've been doing with my friend's band, Paul's Dead. Please check them out. They're putting out a lot of content, and it's all really great stuff. So I'll link you to some of the videos that I've done with them. If you notice, I've gotten a haircut, so you can check me out with the fro in the last days of that crazy hair. We did a video with them, and so you can. I'll leave a link down below so you can check that out. I'll try to link you to their Bandcamp or whatever, so you can check out their music. But I mean, that's basically it. Check those guys out. They're awesome. They're great friends of mine, and they're just fun to work with, and they're really trying to make something happen. They're really putting a lot of effort into their music, and it really shows, especially live. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Oh yes, I completely forgot. There's one other thing that I'm going to be doing with my description box. There'll be a section called chapters, and this is basically inspired by you guys and inspired by the fact that I've been trying to cut down on how much I talk, but it's not going to happen. I just talk endlessly. So what will happen is if you just want to quickly browse through a certain section or a certain thing, you just want to get to a certain thing in the video, you just want to get to the part where I'm actually doing the thing that's being described in the title of the video, there'll be a section called chapters in the description. So expand the description and go to where it says chapters, and there will be little times, so you can skip ahead to those times and you can see that particular thing. It'll probably say something like go to, and then there'll be the time and then there'll be a description of what you're going to get at that time. So yeah, just a little navigation tip on how to use the description box and what I'm going to be doing with that stuff. So I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being subscribed. Thanks for indulging my stupidity. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for everything. Your support means a lot to me. But that's it. That's the end of the video, of this horribly long video. I will be getting back to mics real soon, and Digitech RP500 and a bunch of other gear that I haven't yet demonstrated for you guys, and I'll probably get back to the stuff that I have demonstrated so that you guys can hear it through this new setup, and we'll be going into a bunch of crazy other experiments, kind of like the one we did here. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.